noong September 2 hanggang 8 at si Kamentong po, yours truly. And the big item, the unique item this week is the talk about the return of the Marcos gold. Bakit ito ibinabalik? Actually, I have not heard any of the Marcoses directly saying this is going to be. It is from President Duterte. And ang sagot po ng the usual suspects, yan, nakaw yan, kaya ibabalik. Kung hindi ba ninakaw yan, kailangan ibalik. Pero kung magnanakaw sila, bakit pa nila ibabalik? Ligtas na silang lahat doon sa mga kaso. So, ako binibigyan ko ng panibagong pagtasa dito sa bagay na to dahil sa kanilang potensyal na alok na ibalik ito. Totoo nga na sa aking tingin ngayon, totoo po yung sinasabi nila na hindi po ito ninakaw, kundi ito ay ayon doon sa mga reports. Marcos wanted to secure the economy. At hinawakan niya po ito dahil eventually nakita naman natin na napakaraming magnanakaw sa administrasyon ng mga dilawan. And the latest evidence is, of course, Andy Bautista, na nagdideposito ng mga pondo ng PCGG doon sa, Luzon Development Bank of this Divina, Limcauco, these old elite names, na kagalang-galang, pero ito pala ang mga ginagawa. And so, it seems to be credible that Marcos had better intentions, and we have evidence here. Of course, later we'll flash it on TV. Doy Lauren's letter to Cory, which Cory refused to entertain. And this letter presented Marcos's desire to return and settle the wealth that he had with him, he brought with him, and for this to be used by the nation, but which Cory refused. At ang ating mga panauhin, our usual resource persons na bihasang-bisa dito sa mga issue na to, si Ginoong Ado Paglinawan at si Ginoong Ferdy Pasyon. What would you like to add to my intro, Ado?
Well, pinapaikot-ikot lang ng mga taong ito ang diskusyon. Pero Ferdy will tackle the legalities of this. Pero para sa akin, simple lang ang issue na ito. Kailangan ito ng sambayan ng Pilipino, period. Kasi sino pa may-ari nito, wala akong pakialam. Di ba? Why don't we put this under the disposal of the President of the Philippines, who this time knows how to spend this money for development, for build, and for the poor, for our agriculture. Walang pondo ang agriculture. Dapat i-establish na matibay na state media. Wala tayong pondo sa state media. At pagpapatibay pa ng war against drugs, war against corruption, at war against criminality. So wag na tayo magpatumpik-tumpik dito. Let us avoid the obfuscation of legal cases, keso ganon, keso ganito. Let's go down to get the money, bago magbago pa isip ng mga ito, at ilagay natin for the benefit of the Filipino people.
Okay, we have some of the headlines para ma-highlight lang ito. I hope they're ready. The first one, of course, is President Duterte saying that the Marcoses are not asking for immunity for these things. But there are opposition to it, the lawmakers, the usual suspects from Akbayan, Edsel Lagman, the usual anti-Marcos elements. But at the same time, the Marcoses, however, have not shown any interest in asking for immunity, which Duterte himself again says. So I don't know which is which. And just before we go to the legal question, some senators, however, are attempting to end the row over the Marcos wealth compromise and get it over with, as Ado has said. No? So, anong legal issues dito, Ferdy?
Kasi gusto nila na humingi daw ng patawad ang Marcoses sa mga krimen na ginawa nila. Ang problema, lahat na ng kaso sinampa laban sa Marcoses at ang presidente si Cory Aquino. And we should remember
Wala si Cory, hanggang kay Noynoy.
we should remember, importante yung kay Cory. Kasi yung panahon ni Cory, very powerful si Cory. Pinalitan niya ang batasan, inabolish niya ang mga Supreme Court justices. Lahat hawak niya. Lahat ng kaso sinampa nila, kakampi nila ang Amerika, sinampahan ng RICO cases si Marcos at saka si Imelda ron, absuelto sa lahat ng kaso. So bakit naman magsosorry kung walang conviction, di ba? Hindi nga ninyo mapatunayan sa korte yung kasalanan nila tapos magsosorry sila. So sa makatuwid, walang conviction itong mga ito, kaya nga congresswoman ngayon si Imelda dahil walang conviction. Si Amy, governor. Si Bongbong naging senator pa at di umano dinaya pa. Nakatanggap ng napakaraming boto sa sambayan ng Pilipino. Nag-uudyok na ang sambayan ng Pilipino ay naniniwala na walang kasalanan si Marcos. So ano pang kailangan ditong patunayan? Lahat na ay ginawa nila. Panahon ni Cory, panahon ni FBR, kalaban din ng Marcoses, panahon ni GMA, panahon ni Noynoy. So ano pa? Bakit nagmamakaawa si Presidente Marcos nung nabubuhay pa siya na ibalik ninyo ako sa Pilipinas, diyan ninyo ako idemanda para merong proper jurisdiction. Kasi sa totoo lang, walang jurisdiction ng Amerika dito. Pero takot na takot silang pauwiin sa Pilipinas dahil wala naman talagang alam nila na hindi naman makukonvict. So pag hindi na-convict, baka makabalik pa sa pwesto. So pinabayaan nilang magkaroon ng mock trial sa Amerika. Sinasabi ko mock trial kasi wala naman jurisdiction. Kasi dapat yan, kung saan naganap yung sinasabing krimen, dapat doon lilitisin.
What they did try was the RICO issue.
Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Practices Act.
And again, wala namang nangyari doon.
Wala. Dinismiss ng korte.
Tinataas ni Kado yung mikropono.
Nandun ako
sige.
I was press attaché of the Philippine Embassy noon. Kasama namin si Carmen Pedrosa. Carmen Pedrosa was head of the team. And mamaya, yung isang pangalan na babanggitin kay Mark Malloch Brown, kasama namin siya. He was holding the public relations campaign doon sa Amerika ni Cory Aquino. And I was representing the embassy. Rene Sagisag was presenting the legal group. Wala namang kinalabsan In fact, hindi nag-offer ng defense ang First Lady. At si Spence, yung kanilang lawyer, immediately rested the case after just presenting a testimony from George Hamilton. Yun naman testimony ni George Hamilton is just to soften the image of the Marcoses, no? Hindi naman talaga nag-present din ng ebidensya. But nung i-rest nila yung case, nag-rule ng recess for division, umalis ang jury, pagbalik ng jury, 30 minutes. Kaya sabi ko, patay to. Not guilty ito. Kasi pagka ganon, na hindi nahirapan ng jury, ibig sabihin talaga imposible makakuha sila ng a solid consensus. 12 out of 12 ang jury system Pag isa lang doon, hindi not guilty na.
Okay. Let me go back to the one legal issue. Sabi nung ibang nakakausap ko, ano yung Swiss accounts na transfer ng Swiss banks to Singapore saying that that was not a judgment against Marcos?
Walang kinalaman sa criminal case yan. Civil case yan. Yun dahil lamang merong hinala na baka Republic of the Philippines nga talagang may-ari nito. Kaya pinagbigyan.
And yung pinagbigyan...
Sinoli ito sa Republic of the Philippines.
Sa Philippines,
Sinoli yung pera.
That's right,
ngayon...
Dahil hindi nila alam kung anong talagang nature noon at that time.
So, in case of doubt, para walang masara na lang yung issue, sinoli sa Pilipinas.
At imbes na sa Pilipinas...
naman ng mga human rights na yun daw ang kanilang...
Kabayaran.
Sa
mga...
pagdating naman dito, pumasok sa Supreme Court.
Pumunta muna sa Singapore ata yun.
Singapore muna.
And then sa PNB. Then the PNB. PNB in Singapore. I don't recall the details.
Pagpasok dito PNB kasi at that time yung PNB ay government bank.
Repository ng gobyerno. So again there was no conviction of any kind there.
And we should point out na yung nag-privilege speech si Senator Enrile dito during the time of Cory Aquino, sinabi niya na ang budget of the Republic of the Philippines from 1965 up to 1985 ay naglalaro lamang sa 465 billion to 488 billion pesos. Not even half a trillion pesos. So sabi ni Enrile, kung totoong ganyan kalaki ang ninakaw ni Marcos, sana wala nang sumweldong pulis, wala nang sumweldong teacher, wala nang napagawang infrastructure project kasi para makaamas ka ng ganong kalaking nakaw, ay nanakawin mo na lahat ng kulang pa.
So, we have our last 3 minutes on this topic. We have 2 more topics to tackle for this week. So nobody really knows where this wealth comes from up to this time.
Ang wealth lamang na talaga napasakamay ng gobyerno ay yung na-sequester, tsaka yun nga, in other words, they had to use emergency powers to get the money. Because they had revolutionary powers during the time of Cory. At saka itong kanilang isinakdal, namatay bago magkaroon ng resolusyon.
Yes, so.
Hindi mo na pwedeng habulin yun. Patay na yung...
Hindi pwedeng managot yung mga anak at mga asawa doon sa alleged crimes nung namatay. Death extinguishes criminal liability.
So, last 2 minutes, so I'm perplexed at the motive. It must be a good motive to return something you do not earn.
Yun na nga sinasabi ko eh. And itong mga taong ito are just, ito nag-o-oppose, nag-o-oppose lamang to save their face at para masabi na lahat ng paninira nila kay Marcos at sa kanyang pamilya all these past 30 years ay totoo. At itong pinapain nila na request for immunity na hindi naman hinihingi ng pamilya ay pag-amin, magiging pag-amin daw ng kanila nagawang krimen. So sinasabi nila nakaw yaman.
Yeah.
Paano?
Okay.
Paano ito nangyari?
Ang mahirap dito, baka meron dyan mga, hindi naman natin sinasabing totoo ito, pero baka meron dyan mga tatrabaho para sa mga foreign countries. Remember, nasa foreign countries yung bulk ng mga kayamanan nito at ayaw nitong mga foreign countries na ito na ma-repatriate sa Pilipinas, no? At ayaw nilang umunlad ang Pilipinas. Baka naman yung mga iba dito ay working for foreign countries dahil ayaw umunlad ang Pilipinas, ano? So sana naman pagbigyan na ito para yung napipintong tax reform program na merong allegation na ililipat yung burden of paying taxes from the rich to the poor, hindi na matuluyan at magkaroon na ng another source of income ang government para wala na tayong problema sa taxes.
So let's just flash this facade of the letter of Doy Laurel to Cory Aquino while I read just a portion of it which it's too small for the audience to read. Sabi ni Marcos, direct quote ni Doy Laurel, "Please tell Mrs. Aquino to stop sending me her relatives. They are proposing and asking so many things. All I want is to die in my country. I will turn over 90% of all my worldly possessions to our people. I ask only 10% for my family. Just let me die in my own country. I want to be..."